All right, so we're in the sixth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. The chapter is entitled Dhyan Yoga. And let's do a quick recap of what we've done so far, especially in the last class. Let's look at what Patanjali offers as Ashtanga Yoga, and you will tell me what the next slide is coming up. So the 8 stages in Ashtanga Yoga. Let's begin with the first one. You can unmute and tell us what is the first stage.
Yama,
Yama, and then
Niyama,
Yama, Niyama. Next.
Asana,
Asana, wonderful. Next.
Yam Niyama,
Pranayam,
Pranayam.
Pranayam,
Pranayam.
Pranayam,
Next.
Pratyahara,
Pratyahar.
then Dharana,
Dharana,
Dharana.
Dhyana, and
Dhyana,
Samadhi.
Samadhi. Wonderful.
and Samadhi.
All right. So let's do it once again. The first, so broad categories, there are 2. One initial stages and then advanced stages. And what are they called?
Hatha Yoga,
Yoga
Rukshu,
oh,
Yoga,
Yoga.
Arurukshu. And then that has Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam.
Asana, and Pranayam.
And the
Yoga
advanced stages?
Aruda, Aruda,
Arudha. Yoga, Arudha.
Aruda,
Yoga, Ruda,
Pratyahar,
Pratyahara,
Dharana, Dhyan,
Dhyan,
Samadhi.
Samadhi.
All right. Okay, so another extra little information. The last 3 of the Yoga Arudha stages, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi, together they're called Samyama. So in this category, Samyama category, what happens, because it's very advanced level, the yogi starts getting or obtaining siddhis. Right, you must have heard the mystic powers. So a yogi starts to achieve those, and sometimes it happens, mostly it happens that these yogis get distracted because they get these siddhis. Now they feel they're so powerful, they get distracted from the path of achieving the highest perfection, which is going back to Godhead or achieving love of Krishna when they come in contact with the devotees. So if that doesn't happen, if they get distracted with the powers that they obtain, then it is a misfortune. They don't attain perfection and they get deluded. And what are these 8 siddhis? They are here. I mean, we don't have to memorize these, just for your information. Well, question might come in the exam also, but very briefly, just name the 8 siddhis. Might not come, but you can in that way prepare yourself. So Anima, Mahima, Lagima, and what are these? You can read later. You know, some of them where you can your body weight becomes so light that you can walk on the water. Somewhere you can just disappear and appear again, where you know somebody sitting next to you wants an apple from Kashmir. You can quickly, that yogi can quickly in seconds transfer to that place, bring the apple and in front of you. It's no magic, it is real siddhi. So all these are named over here: Anima, Mahima, Lagima, Prapti, Prakamya, Ishitva, Vashitva, and then Kama, Avasyatitva. You can go through all of these later. Nothing to, talk about in great detail. Okay, so this is the broad categorization of the verses of chapter 6. We've already done the first one and we started the second one. So advancing in Ashtanga Yoga, we did in the first class. Second last class, we did from 10th to the 17th verses, the stages of Ashtanga Yoga, and we'll continue doing that section today. We'll try and cover about 8 or 9 verses. Then next one is necessity of controlling the mind, then the destination of an unsuccessful yogi, and then Bhakti Yoga, which is the topmost yogi. Okay, so this is what we did in our last class. Practice of a yogi in advanced stage, basic practices of Ashtanga Yoga, goal of Ashtanga Yoga, and recommendations. So let's do a quick recap. These are the basic practices of meditation 10 to 17. 10th verse, Krishna says, the transcendentalist should always engage his body, mind, and self in relationship with the Supreme. He should live alone in a secluded place and should always carefully control his mind. He should be free from desire, feeling of possessiveness. So, Rahasi Sthita, which is externally secluded, and Ekaki, internally concentrated and controlled. We also took example of the sun, where the rays are like for the Jnana yogis, which is impersonal Brahman, and then the surface of the sun, who remembers, is for which yogi?
It is surface of the sun is for seeing the Paramatma feature of the Lord.
Which is for Dhyan Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga. And then the sun itself,
Bhakti.
Bhakti Yoga. And then which feature?
Sun itself.
Bhagwan.
Bhagavan. Wonderful. All right. So Bhakti Yoga is complete path because the Bhakti Yoga can see Krishna face to face, which includes the Brahman effulgence and his Paramatma feature also. And then from 11 to 14th verses, Krishna describes the basic practices of Ashtanga Yoga. Who remembers this? You can look at the picture. The Ashtanga Yoga is supposed to sit in a
Secluded
secluded place or sacred place and a
Sthir asan, secluded.
Sthir asana.
that is next, yeah.
Clean.
But there's another
Clean.
word,
Quiet.
clean place. Sit in a sacred, clean place, and then steady asana, and not very blank or blank.
High or
and
low?
Not
Low.
very high or very low. And then which grass?
Kusha.
grass.
Usha grass.
With skin.
Deer
Deer
skin.
skin.
Deer skin.
And
Tiger.
one more thing.
Tiger skin.
Deer skin or
And
tiger
clean
skin
soft
and
cloth. Soft cloth.
cloth and a soft
Yes.
cloth. Wonderful. Okay, next. 13 to 14, Krishna describes the basic practices. One should hold one's body and neck and head erect in a straight line, stare steadily at the tip of the nose, mind unagitated, subdued, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, meditate upon me, within the heart, make me the ultimate goal. And we also discussed how restricting the mind and senses for Ashtanga Yogi is not giving any engagement makes it tremendously difficult. But for a Bhakti Yogi, whereas giving the mind
A higher
blind,
taste. A higher
Higher
taste.
higher taste, or over here, some positive engagement
Positive.
is so much more easy and joyful also. Okay, so higher taste keeps us happily
Engaged.
engaged. Simple. And we also discussed how Prabhupada gave examples of all these kings who, although they had such comforts, influence, facilities, but still their minds were fixed in devotion upon Krishna. So the goal, purpose, and result of Ashtanga Yogi is cessation of material existence, Nirvana Parama, and Krishna's abode, where Krishna says, Mat Samstham. Okay. 6.16, Krishna speaks about how one should not eat too much or too little, sleep too much, sleep too little. And that is yama, which is what is
Control
yama?
of
Simple word.
Regulation? No.
Regulation. Both yama and niyama are regulations, but yama is
Don'ts.
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 So don't sleep too much, don't sleep too little, don't eat too much, don't eat too little. Next verse, 6.16 was niyama, which is
Dues.
Do's. Do eat, do bring regulation in your eating, recreation, work, and sleeping. So we should make sure that our valuable human life is not wasted, but rather engaged in noble causes and studying the scriptures, serving devotees, chanting, etc. Effective use of time ensures bigger and valuable contributions by channelizing our time purposefully. And this was a comparison between Ashtanga Yogi and Bhakti Yogi. You can go through this later. Very important also. Question might come from here also. We're talking about the exam part. I do still need to make the format. I wasn't able to, but it's going to be really simple. Don't be too afraid of the exam. I'm talking about this because soon after the 6th chapter ends, you will have time, 3 to 4 weeks to prepare, while simultaneously we'll start the 7th chapter also. We don't want to waste any time. So we'll begin the 7th chapter. You will have that time of a month, maybe 3-4 weeks to prepare for your exam, to study. I will also, okay, this is bonus for everyone. I will also, from my side, prepare a study guide. So you can go through the study guide. Otherwise, it's going to be so difficult, right? Which question might come from where? We
Thank you,
don't know. You'll have to
Mataji.
study. You'll have to study a lot. So a study guide would help you. From the study guide only, I'll give questions in the exam. So just go through the study guide nicely. I won't give answers, just questions in the study guide. But in the exam, more questions will be short questions. There'll be multiple choice question also. They can be fill in the blanks also. For your recitation of verses, okay, I'm making everything really, really easy for your first exam, at least, so you don't get so anxious. For the verse recitation, I might give fill in the blanks. I might give one word and then you have to finish the rest. There also, there'll be select verses, not all of the verses that we're trying to memorize. So which are those verses also, I might just put in the study guide. There will be medium length question answers like you've been doing in your homework, not too lengthy, not too small, about 50 to 60 words or maybe 100 words maximum. So medium, and then there'll be long questions also. So generally in Bhakti Shastri, the long questions might or might not be open book. So your open book was mainly the homework. All homework was open book. So for the exam, there will not be anything open book. So but instead of giving 4 lengthy essay type questions, there'll be 1 or 2 maximum lengthy. And then the rest would be, your points would also be based on your homework that you've submitted on time, your contribution in the class, your participation in the class, your attendance, that also will hold points. So if you up to that, the level is good, you'll get 100% points in all of those. Okay, we do see Deepa Mataji, her hand is raised. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, just a question. We're going to have the exam in the Zoom class?
Yes. So again, it'll be on Zoom. You will have to have 2 ways where you have to join the Zoom class. So one is where you will keep the phone or your laptop a little distance. So now you can see, right, where we can see your faces very nicely. So not like that, you have to keep it a little far distant on your table so I can see where you're writing, how you're writing your exam. And then one has to be behind you so I can see that nobody's copying. Since your exam is really, really going to be not so difficult, easy, but we do need to make sure that there is no cheating. So all of us are Vaishnavas. We have, principles in life, we have morals, but still just want to make sure for everybody's integrity, we will have, exam like that. So 2 ways you have to join the Zoom class. Yeah? Yes, Mohini Preeti Mataji.
What will be the mode of exam? Like we have been getting it typed to somebody, but I may not be typing it very fast because my
You have to
typing will
write.
take
So for the exams,
till night.
uh,
Okay.
everything has to be handwritten, nothing to be typed. I might also make the answer sheet in the sense, answer 1, answer 2, like that. And you can take a printout of that beforehand, so to keep it ready. And you can write on that. After the exam ends, you have to take pictures of your answer sheets and you have to upload it in the classroom. Just like you upload your homework, in the same way, you have to upload your immediately, not the next day, not in the later in the day, immediately. Okay, what else?
Hare Krishna Mataji. So
Hare
for the
Krishna.
verses, I know you given fill in the blanks. So are you going to pay attention to the spelling of that? Just want to make sure.
I mean, I'm not going to deduct points if the spellings are wrong. No, especially if it's Sanskrit, it's okay. But there will be places where it'll hold very a lot of importance, but generally no. But be careful. I mean, it doesn't mean that we'll be so easygoing now that nothing is so strict. So please be careful, be attentive, and study well. Give your exam nicely. Percentage for passing is 65. Generally, in the Bhakti Shastri, 70% passing in recitation, 65 in this, 60 in this. So we'll just keep it simple, 65 in everything, the whole thing. And I'm making it point system. For example, the short questions will be 2 points each, like that. A long question, 4 points. Or sorry, 10 points. Medium will be 4 points, like that. So you get points and then you get your grade out of 100. Total will be 100, out of which 6 points will be for homework, 2 will be for class participation, 2 will be for attendance, like that. So point system, and 65 is the passing. What else? Yes, Kaya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you
Hare
so much
Krishna.
for giving us study guide, and that really helps us focus our studies. But I do have a question. It probably doesn't apply to anyone else, but I don't have computer. I have iPad and I have phone. And so whenever I have to print something, I have to go downtown to the printer person and I pay him to print out. So will there be time for me to, I'm
The
worried
answer
about that.
sheet?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. I will send it a day before, maybe, or even a week before. You just have to print it out and keep it ready. It just has answer 1, and I'll make it in a way that there is space for me to, remark also, like that. I'll format it that way.
Okay. Thank you so much. Hare
It
Krishna.
it would have instructions also in the beginning. I'll, type those also, so it's easy for you. You'll be prepared beforehand. A lot of work for me, right? Okay, anyway. What else?
I'm there to help Mataji if you need me. Hare Krishna.
You can help to format. Yeah. You can help prepare the questions also, Prabhu.
It's going to be
Thank
an
you.
hour's exam, Mataji? How long is it going to be?
3 hours.
3 hours. Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mataji, we have lost the practice of giving exams, not actually.
Yeah, I know. I've also lost practice, Prabhu, and I don't have any practice of taking also.
But but you are young, Mataji.
No, young Prabhu. All right, so let's begin. That's why we have 3 hours, Prabhu. You'll have a lot of time, so don't worry at all. You might even finish in 2 hours.
Mataji, 2 of us can sit together.
No sitting together. We have to have different rooms.
Okay.
पीछे भी चाहिए.
Yeah, so आप दोनों को you'll need 4 ways to, yeah? You'll be okay? Okay. Especially for the short questions, fill in the blanks. It's very easy when two people are sitting together. I'll tell you my example. I never cheated in my exams when I was in school, but my friend, she was expert in cheating. So the way she used to do it is, write something and take that, we used to call it farra, right? Take it inside her socks or write on her thighs. Like this, she was really expert. So for the English exam, I remember fill in the blanks. They were there in the question paper, and she was sitting right in front of me. She said, "You can write the answers on your question paper, just drop it. I'll also drop mine. You pick up mine, and I'll pick up yours, and I'll see the answers from." So expert. Things can really get very creative when one really wants to, whatever, pass. Anyway, so we'll start with today's class. We are in
Mataji, I'm like your friend only.
We're in the second section of the 6th chapter, subsection, which is the stages of Ashtanga Yoga practice. And we will do, where you see the arrows, we'll finish the perfectional stage of Ashtanga Yoga, whereas aspects and realizations of perfection. Then we'll start with the second part, which is attaining perfection in Ashtanga Yoga, realizing the super soul, where we'll finish 24, 25, 26, which is methods to attain Yoga Arudha stage and success formula of bringing the mind back. So perfectional stage of Ashtanga Yoga involves, let's recite the words. This is 6.18. I'm going to open my book also. Just give me 1 second. All right. Yada viniyatam chittam atmani eva tishtate nispriha sarva kamebhyo yukta iti uchyate tada. So somebody read the translation.
When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he is said to be well established in yoga. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So we'll do one line at a time to understand what the verse means. Yada viniyatam chittam. So there's something called chit and there is something called chittam, and we'll look at the difference later on. So here, chittam, yada viniyatam chittam, having fully disciplined the mental activities or material consciousness. So chittam, it's easy to understand, it's material consciousness. When one has fully disciplined his mental activities, Atmani eva tishtate, being fixed at the level of the Atma, nispriha sarva kamebhyo, detached from all material desires, yukta iti uchyate tada, he is said to be well situated in yoga at that time. So this is the advanced level of reaching that stage where he's fully controlled his mind, he's disciplined his mind, he's detached from all material desires. He's situated in yoga. So our mind, we all have experienced, especially when I sit to chant, it will go here and there. And I have to bring it back. So this yogi's mind is not going all over the place. He's controlled it. He's disciplined it, the mental activities. So the yogi is fixed in his identity as a spirit soul and not too much overwhelmed at the bodily level, which is temporary identity. So the example is, for example, you are traveling in a plane. Okay, first of all, I see so many people, your videos are off. So please, I'm requesting, if you don't want to lose your points in the exam, please turn on your videos. Unless you turn on your videos, I will not know that you're there. Participation is secondary, right? But at least you should be present physically, right, here in the class. So please turn on your videos if you haven't. Okay. One's identity as a passenger is only secondary, and too much distraction during the journey will not lead to anything. So what this means is, we're taking an example, right? If you are traveling in a train and you have to reach a destination. Inside the train, there could be, that journey could be very miserable, right? For example, I'll give you example of my Prabhu. He was going to, he's there in the class. Prabhu, if you want to quickly unmute and tell us your journey in 3 sentences when you were going to Jagannath Puri from Mayapur.
You're looking for what?
Your experience in 3 sentences for your journey from Mayapur to Jagannath Puri, the train ride.
Oh yeah. I actually flew from Delhi to Calcutta, and from Calcutta I actually went to the train station. Took the taxi, went to the train station, got the train. This was like, I was told this would be the AC compartment, whatever. But at the end, I found it was the tier third with rats in it. And, everybody, it was right next to the restroom. And it was really, really filthy. But it was an overnight journey. So I had to sit all night with my shoes on, window open, and it started raining. So I was getting drenched all night. But I guess it was being cleansed to get to Jagannath, right? I probably have too many sins. So by the time I got to the morning to Jagannath Puri, I was completely drenched, still sitting all night. And that's how I reached Jagannath Puri in the morning.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. So that journey could be very miserable, but when we know the destination, we have a motive, we have to reach a destination, and that is of most. There is, when we're going through the experience, it might be disturbing, right, to our consciousness. But if we know that there is a place that we need to go, we have another identity. For Prabhuji, he's trying to be a devotee, reaching a dham, right? That in the mind, or that in the forefront of your consciousness, then the other things don't matter too much. They don't disturb too much. Similarly, for the trainer, one's identity at the bodily level is only secondary, and too much distraction connected with the body will not lead to anything, right? If I'm getting today, if I got wonderful prasad or not, if I have so much money or not, if I have a bigger house or not, if I have newer cell phone or not, all these things are secondary. So the yogi understands that the purpose of his journey, life's journey, is to reach the eternal destination, which is Krishna's abode. For Ashtanga yogi, he has to, keep away from the distractions, because he has a motive, he has a destination, which could be any other planet, or it could be, if he connects with the Bhakti Yogi, then it will be the same as the Bhakti Yogi, which is reaching Golok Vrindavan, or anywhere else where the yogi can be a wonderful servant of the Lord. Prabhupada says, as spirit souls, our bodily identity is secondary, and our true identity is that of a das of Krishna and his devotees. And therefore, all our activities get centered around that identity. Thus, in all activities, one can direct one's consciousness towards Krishna, think of Krishna always, and get purified instead of entangled. Beautiful verses from the Bhagavatam, where Ambarish Maharaj, his activities are spoken of. So we'll recite this verse. It's really, really amazing. If you have time, and if you are one of those devotees who love to memorize verses, this is one of them. Maybe you've already memorized this one. So let's recite it. And Prabhupada has also quoted from in the purport, the whole verse, all 3 verses. Savai mana Krishna padar vindayor vachamsi vaikuntha gunarnu varnane karao harer mandiram arjanadashu shrutim chakara chuta satkatodaye mukundalingalaya darshane drisho tatpritya gatra sparshenga sangamam granam cha tatpada saroja saurabhe Srimad Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite Padao Hare Kshetra Padanu Sarpane Shiro Rishikesha Padabhivandane Kamam Chadasena Tu Kama Kamyaya Yato Tamashloka Janashrayarati. So his mind was always engaged in thinking of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Let's have somebody read these. Keshav Krishna Prabhu, would you like to unmute and read?
Yes, Mataji. Me to read? No, you read.
Keshav Krishna Prabhuji is reading, Prabhu. Thank you.
His mind, the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. His word, describing the transcendental quality of Lord. His hand, mopping the temple of the Lord. His ear, hearing the activities of the Lord. His eyes, seeing the transcendental form of the Lord. His body, embracing the devotees. His sense of smell, smelling the lotus flower offered to the Lord. His tongue, tasting the tulsi leaf offered at the lotus feet of the Lord. His legs, going to the place of pilgrimage and the temples of the Lord. His head, offering obeisances up to the Lord. His desire is executing the mission of the Lord. Jai.
Thank you, Prabhu. So for a devotee, engaging the mind becomes so simple and the whole body becomes so easy, right? Mind thinking of Krishna, words describing his glories, hands cleaning the temple, ears hearing about the Lord, eyes taking darshan, touching devotees or embracing devotees, smell the fragrance of the flowers and the tulsis offered to Krishna, even the incense, tongue eating prasadam, and legs visiting the temple, head bowing down. So the body and the mind completely engaged in Krishna's service. That's why the distractions the devotee is not worried about too much distractions because he's engaging himself so positively, so nicely. Without agitating or stimulating sensual desires, when a devotee engages his material senses in Krishna's service, his senses elevate him and purify him. Thus he stays fixed in situation of yukta, which is connected, like Ambarish Maharaj. Let's have somebody read this. Kindly unmute.
Ashtanga Yoga. It is very difficult to detach oneself from matter without connecting oneself to Krishna. That's why it is very arduous process and does not lead to very satisfactory result. Bhakti Yoga, by engaging the senses in Krishna's service, one connects with Krishna from the very beginning and detachment from matter becomes easy. That's why for a devotee, it is very joyful and practical process and leads to perfection. Hare Krishna.
Even when we see the pictures, right, such calmness and such is there in the Ashtanga Yogi also, but for the Bhakti Yogi, there's also that purity and that joyfulness, right? Starting from the beginning itself. For this Ashtanga Yogi, he has gone through the Yoga Arurukshu already. He's been through all that arduous journey in his Ashtanga Yoga process, and then he's reached here. And for the Bhakti Yogi, he's like this from the beginning, the first day itself, when he starts to sit and starts to chant. Especially the time he's chanting, at least that time, he's totally engrossed, trying to be totally engrossed. My Guru Maharaj said one time, because somebody asked, when I'm chanting, I'm really struggling still what to do. I'm not a pure devotee. What is bhakti then for me? And Maharaj said, you trying to bring your mind back again and again when you're chanting is bhakti. That is pure bhakti, where you are from your side trying again and again. So don't be so disheartened. For the Bhakti Yogi, from beginning itself is choice. So last verse, 17th verse, yukta referred to regulation. Remember where Krishna said yukta, 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 three times. He said, you have to be regulated in your eating, sleeping, work, and recreation. Here also, yukta word has come, but this is in connection to the absolute truth. All right, next verse. One may ask, if I engage in worldly activities, won't I get worldly desires? Because here you see, Ashtanga Yogi has now in this Yoga Arudha stage left his home and gone to a secluded place. But the Bhakti Yogi is still engaged in activities, right? So the question is asked, if I engage in worldly activities, won't I get worldly desires? Krishna gives example in the next verse how this will not happen. Let's read the verse. 6.19 Yatha dipo nivatasto nengate sopma smrita yogino yata chittasya yunjato yogamatmanaha. Have somebody read?
As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist, whose mind is controlled, remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendental self. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Krishna has given an example in this verse. Because of wind, we see if there's wind in the room coming from somewhere and there's a candle or a lamp, the flame will flicker for sure. But so the wind is like material desires. The material desires come like a wind, and the consciousness, which is like a flame, which will flicker. It will get agitated. But if there is no wind, then the flame is steady. So this is the example Krishna has given. Unflinching flame is like undeviating consciousness. For Ashtanga Yogi, let's have somebody read this who hasn't read before. Unmute.
Unflinching flame is like undeviating consciousness. Ashtanga Yogi. Since there are no material desires in the mind of an advanced yogi, his mind is steady and fixed in the Atma, not yet realized his relationship with Krishna. For a Bhakti Yogi, since there are no material desires in the mind of a devotee, his mind is steady and fixed on Krishna.
Yes, thank you. Somebody can read this.
I'll try. When the mind is restless, productivity is not very good. Those who are materially attracted are always restless, always seeking sensual objects. When the mind is not restless, productivity is very good. One who is a saint, his eyes are very peaceful, calm, alert, and focused.
Thank you, Mataji. So alert, focused. When the mind is restless, productivity is not very good, right? The focus will go here and there, especially when there are desires in the mind. We've seen people who are so restless, you can see in the eyes, they're always looking around here, there, where can I get some pleasure from, right? There was this doctor, a patient went to this doctor and his labs were done, right? Blood report came. And the doctor said, your sugar level is so high, you have to be very careful. We have to restrict your diet. So from now on, you will eat every meal. You have to eat steamed vegetables in a bowl and 1 bowl of soup also. Every meal you have to take this. And this patient is like, the doctor says, do you have any questions? And the patient says, yes, I have only one question. So this steamed bowl of vegetables and soup, do you have to take before lunch or after lunch? And before dinner or after dinner? So the mind is always wanting sense gratification, either through tongue or ears or touch. So the focus, if the patient has a focus, yes, I have to get cured, then the procedure I have to follow, he will be focused on that. Now, Krishna gives the description of samadhi, how one attains perfection and what is the vision of one who has attained perfection. So these are verses which are together, 20th to 23rd. We will do one at a time. So let's start with the 20th verse. Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. Somebody can read the translation.
In the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So again, this is realization in perfection. At the time of samadhi, what is a person realizing, or what is his realization at that time? So yatro paramate chittam yatra, in that stage, when a person has become situated in transcendence, uparamate, which is stopped or ceased or withdrawn, the chittam, which is mental activities. So there are 5 stages. You don't have to memorize this, just for your information. How our consciousness goes through various levels. So first one is mudha, which is the lowest level, mode of ignorance. Shipta is agitated level, which characterizes the mode of passion. Vishikta is distracted level, wherein we are trying to concentrate, represents proximity to the mode of goodness. Then ekagrita, the level wherein we are absorbed, signifies proximity to transcendence. And the last one is nirodha, which is the highest level, wherein all material thoughts cease and the consciousness becomes free from matter to relish transcendence. This is the stage that Krishna is talking about for this Ashtanga Yogi, Nirodha stage, where totally he's gone inwards. Nothing of the outside world is distracting his mind. So here's the difference between chit and chittam. So chit, if you remember what is the quality of the soul, right? Sat chit ananda. So chit is that chit which is the awareness, the innate faculty of the soul. But chitta or chittam is consciousness which is rooted within the material energy, entangled consciousness. We'll take an example. If you might have gone to watch movies sometime or the other, maybe earlier, before coming to Krishna consciousness, in a theater, where the movie is not yet started, the screen is blank right now, you are talking to your friends, so that is chit. You are aware of, it is not exactly, but we're taking example, right? Chit is being aware of the reality. For a material, for a soul which is spiritual, the reality is spiritual, right? We're taking example here. When we're sitting with our friends, the movie hasn't yet started. That is the reality over there, right? Original spiritual consciousness, awareness, the innate faculty of the soul. So you know that this is who I am, this is my friend, this is maybe Irvine, where I'm sitting in this movie theater, and you're talking to your friends. So you're aware. But when the movie begins, you are so engrossed in the movie, right? With the emotions that are happening. Sometimes people start crying. Sometimes people are laughing because the consciousness is so much engrossed in the movie. I remember when we were young, my parents used to take us to watch movies. My older brother, he is such a wonderful devotee now. He is initiated. He used to love watching movies, and especially new Amitabh Bachchan movies. Okay, so I'm giving examples because later on it's easy for us to remember what is chitta, what is chit. So movie has started. He used to be so engrossed in the movie, and he used to be totally quiet from the beginning to the end because he wanted to absorb the whole thing, what's happening now, what's going to happen. And for me, I used to talk so much in the movie. Oh, so why is he doing like this? Oh, how come this scene has come so suddenly? So I used to talk so much. And he one time got up, because I was sitting right next to him. He got up and he said, "Iswa dur badhao." And everybody started laughing. This is what happens in our daily life also, because of the temporary things we know. End of the day, philosophically, we know all this is temporary, everything is going to end, and my soul is going to go to another body or go back to Krishna, wherever. We know philosophically, but practically things happen and we get so distracted, we get into so much anxiety. So we have to come out of that chitta consciousness to our original chit consciousness. Consciousness entangled in matter stops being there. So in this verse, Krishna is saying it stops being there in the chitta and comes out of that daze-like state. Krishna says, Niruddham yoga sevaya. Niruddham is absorption of consciousness in matter, which has stopped. Yoga sevaya, by performance of yoga. And yatra chaivatmanatmanam. At that time, the purified mind turns inwards towards the absolute truth, and then Pashyan atmani tushyati. One can see the self or Paramatma by the pure mind and delights, and he's satisfied within. For this yogi, if you tell him there's a new movie on in the theaters near us, do you want to come? Will he be? Well, he's already in a secluded place. But for a bhakti yogi who is wanting to tread nicely in his, or advance nicely in his path of bhakti, to him or her, if you tell him or her, you want to come to this movie, they will not be interested, right? Because they're satisfied within, with that joy is, they're finding it within. All right, 621. Sukham atyantikam yattad buddhi granyam atindriyam veti yatra na chaivayam sitash chalati tatvataha. Somebody can read the translation.
The joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness realized through transcendental senses.
In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness. So, Sukham Atyantikam Yattad, such a person will receive supreme spiritual endless bliss and ultimate happiness. Buddhi Grayam Atindriyam, beyond the material perception of the senses. Atindriyam, at a spiritual level of the heart. Veti Yatra Na Chaivayam, once when one is situated in that happiness, then Sthitas Chalati Tatvata. The truth about the Lord is rooted in the mind and one is not deviated. He is forever satisfied. Krishna is describing that this ultimate happiness is so deep, rich, and fulfilling that one doesn't want anything else. So this is internal happiness far beyond the senses. And a very nice comparative is from this world. Prabhupada used to also say, the love in this world between a parent and a child is the closest one which is there in the spiritual world, right? Because it's selfless. The parents, when they care for the children, it is very selfless. They're not expecting anything in return. So especially when, the prasadam linked to the female category more, Matajis, when they're feeding their children prasadam, in case nothing is left for them, they're still happy because they've fed their children, right? So that is the happiness, internal happiness far beyond the senses. Even if I don't get to eat, my child has eaten, that brings joy. Situated in this happiness, one is forever satisfied and does not want anything else. And why is that? Next verse, 22. Let's read the verse. Yam labdhva chaparam labham manyate nadikam tataha yasmin sthito na dukkhena guruna pi vichalyate. Somebody can read.
Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty.
Thank you, Prabhu. So let's look at this. Having attained this great gain of spiritual bliss, yad labdva. Labdva is having attained. Chaparam labham, having attained this great gain. Manyate nadikam tata, you will not consider any other gain to be more superior or greater value of happiness. Yasmin sthito na dukkhena, one situated thus, even if there are big distressful conditions or a great misery. Guna Guru Napi Vichalate, even though Guru Napi is very difficult, even if that situation or challenge is very, very difficult, Vichalate, you will not be shaken. So people in this world, especially, I have experience also. You talk to somebody who've been coming to the temple, going through some distressful situation, they just stop coming. And when you ask them, why have you stopped? Because my mind is so distressed, it doesn't want to do anything. I'm just home. I'm so depressed. This is the time when the medicine is needed the most. So please come. And then when when things are stabilized, they're normal, we'll start coming. When things become normal, what happens? When they go to the other end, they become so happy. Now there's no time for Krishna at all. Then they stop coming, then they don't come that time also. So what happens in the time of misery, people get so bewildered. What happens at the time of great happiness, people get so bewildered, either depressed or so elated. But Krishna is talking about this achievement, life's greatest achievement, which takes us beyond the hankering and beyond lamenting. So hankering is this when you gain something or you haven't gained, you want more and more and more. That is that is hankering. And lamenting is when you haven't received or you received and it is taken away. So in material life, even if one achieves material goals, it will not give one lasting fulfillment. Why? Because now one's want more. And when it's taken away, which is lamentation, which is not a question of if the things get taken away from me, it is a question of when the things are taken away. Because at the time of death, everything is going to be taken away anyway. So that is also lamentation at the end. Let's have somebody read this for a devotee.
For a devotee. Go ahead, Mother.
Thank you, Mother. Hare Krishna. For a devotee, samadhi is ultimately achieving love of Krishna within the heart, gives spiritual ecstasy which will never be taken away. Bible, make your assets in the kingdom of God, because in this world they will be stolen, rusted, or taken away. The source of happiness, Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, go ahead. Ipsita ji, were you going to read? Please read.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, thank you. We may have various conceptions of success in our lives, but the Bhagavad Gita gives the highest standard of achievement, that achievement which frees us from all hankering and all lamenting. There's nothing higher to be achieved when one has achieved Krishna. And in that state, no matter how great the misery, a devotee is not disturbed because he has Krishna, who is the ultimate source of the greatest joy. Hare Krishna.
Wonderful. In the highest level, for a pure devotee, he's not even seeking that joy. The only purpose is giving joy to Krishna. So even if the devotee goes through miserable conditions in this material world, his only purpose or only motive to be in this material body is to give joy to Krishna, even while going through the difficult situations. And who can remember really from the Panchatattva, from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, a very distressful situation, but still the devotee was wanting that Krishna should not be disturbed. He should have all the pleasure. Yes, Sanjana Mataji.
Mataji.
Go ahead, Sanjana Mataji, you raised your hand. Go ahead.
Srivas Prabhu, right? Srivas Pandit Prabhu.
Srivas Pandit, yes. At the time when his son left his body, he died. At that time, all night, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to have kirtans in his house, and that night also kirtan was going on. And at that time, his son in the same house, he left his body, died. But what did Srivas Thakur do? He went inside and he told them, please bring your voices, because they were all crying. make it low. If Mahaprabhu hears you crying, then I will go myself and I'll drown in the Ganga if this happens. So it's amazing how these examples are exemplary, and we cannot, copy them. We can only follow in the principle, in the footsteps, and we can only follow the principles. Yes, somebody raised hand. Do you have any question? Anybody? Okay, let's keep going then. 23rd verse. Tam vidya dukkha samyoga viyogam yoga samhitam. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. So know that everyone has made contact or entangles themselves with dukkha. Tam vidya. The vidya is you should know. Dukkha samyoga is connection with yoga. So just know that everyone has connection with dukkha. Viyogam yoga samyitam. But there is separation from dukkha, which is perfection of yoga or trance in yoga. Let's have somebody read this.
Perfections, yoga stages. Perfection stage. Yoga Rudha. Being connected with the absolute truth. Then that leads to Viyoga from Dukkha. Soul is situated in its supreme glory and not bodily designations. Has access to real happiness, which is the ultimate achievement of life. For Arjuna, Krishna is as if saying, now you are thinking that, oh, if I fight this war, then my relatives will be killed and then there'll be so much lamentation. Don't think by avoiding battle you can avoid lamentation. It will come for sure. But if you connect with the absolute truth and attain the stage of samadhi, that is viyogam, or separation from dukkha samyoga, or entanglement of dukkha. Thank you.
Thank you. So that is the perfectional stage. We think, okay, let this pass. I'm going through difficult situation. Let this pass. I will not be lamenting, and then I can be free from lamentation. I'll be joyful. Krishna is saying, in this material world, dukkha is going to come for sure. But to reach this stage is the perfectional stage where even while going through dukkha, a person does not is beyond it. He's transcendental to the dukkha because he has connection with the absolute truth. So trying to be free from misery in the material world is like trying to be in an ocean, avoiding getting wet. But when we are connected with the spiritual world, then we get free from the material misery. Samadhi is in two ways: liberation from misery, which is 6.23, viyogam, separation from dukkha samyoga, entanglement of dukkha, and contact with happiness, which Krishna spoke about in 21, sukham atyantika yattad. Such a person will receive supreme spiritual endless bliss and ultimate happiness. And how does it work? Two ways in dealing with emotions on the path of Dhyana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. In Dhyana Yoga, one silences and stops all material attachments through restricting the senses and emotions. So the Ashtanga Yogi, through his own skill and practices, he has to shut down or silence the attachments. But for a Bhakti Yogi, one silences and stops all material attachments by kindling spiritual emotions and attaching oneself to Krishna, which becomes easier. So Patanjali Yoga Sutra, the definition of yoga is yoga chitta vritti nirodha. So yoga is removing the fluctuations of the mind. And let's look at this. Yoga is to yoke or to join or unite. Chitta is the consciousness rooted in matter. Vritti is the fluctuations or the movement towards that, and nirodha is to quieten or to shut off. In Bhakti Yoga, the focus is not on rejecting the negative or giving up material desires, but rather the focus is on taking the positive spiritual desires. Remember, we in our temple here in the West, there are so many people who come who are still maybe drinking, still maybe eating meat. They never stopped from coming to the temple. And even when they ask, what can I do? I'm disturbed. I want to, start my practice or start the path towards going to Krishna. What do I do? They're never ever told not to do something. Maybe sometimes, but mostly they are just told start chanting. Bring in the positive, negative is going to go away automatically. It's just like a glass of dirty water. If you put it under a faucet with the tap going, water coming, in time, all the dirty water is going to go away, right? Because you're filling it with clean water. So in Bhakti Yoga, higher result is achieved by kindling spiritual emotions, and by that, material emotions go away automatically. So devotees become attracted to Krishna, heart becomes filled with the desire to love, glorify, and serve Krishna, and material desires find no room in such a heart. So just imagine the material desires is like the dirty water in a glass, and filling it with the purpose to love Krishna, to glorify, to serve him. That filling is the clean water, which automatically clears away the dirty water, which is the material desires. And this is from the Bhagavatam. My dear Uddhava, the unalloyed devotional service rendered to me by my devotees brings me under their control. I cannot be thus controlled by those engaged in mystic yoga, which is Ashtanga Yoga, Sankhya philosophy, which is Jnana Yoga, pious work, which is Karma Yoga, Vedic study, austerity, or renunciation. Okay, let's keep going. So this is the summary from 20th to 23rd. You can take a look at it later. Now we'll start the next section, which is from 24th to 32nd verse, attaining perfection in Ashtanga Yoga, or realizing the super soul. And we'll do these three today, 24, 25, 26. Methods to attain Yoga Arura stage, which is 24 and 25, and then success formula in yoga, which is 26. 24th verse. Sanishchayena yoktavyo yogo nirvinna chetasa sankalpa prabhavan kamams tyaktva sarvan asheshata manasaivendriya gramam viniyamya samantataha. Somebody can read the translation, please.
Oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith, and not to be deviated from the path. One should abandon without exception all material desires born of mental speculation, and thus control all the senses on all sides by the mind. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So again, in this chapter, there's so many instructions. There's no other chapter in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna gives direct instructions that this, you should do this, do this, do this in your path, in your yoga process. So here Krishna is saying one should engage oneself in practice of yoga with determination, faith, not be deviated from the path, abandon without exception all material desires born of mental speculation, and thus control all the senses on all the sides. So not even one material desire has to be there. All desires. So what are the components? Practice with determination, without deviation, giving up all material desires, controlling all senses on all sides. So 4 components Krishna has given in this verse. We're taking example of following Ekadashi. Most of us, all of us, I think, follow Ekadashi. So Prabhupada gives example, resolution to not eat grains on Ekadashi. So today's Ekadashi, we have to fast from grains. So with all these components, with determination, without deviation, giving up material desires, okay, there is a Mahaprasad in the temple when we go, but it is Ekadashi. In the Mahaprasad, there is this wonderful blueberry lemon cake offered to Krishna, because Krishna doesn't keep Ekadashi, or gulab jamun offered to Krishna. But we have to keep away from that material desire to taste it, because it is Ekadashi, controlling all senses on all the sides. So there is a difference in desiring and planning to enjoy. So desiring, we don't have control, we cannot avoid. Desires might come in, but we can avoid planning about them. If we know today is Ekadashi, let us not plan going to yogurt land, because there, although ice cream is made with yogurt, still there is whey or what other components in it which might have grains. I cannot have it. Let me not plan going there. So one is that can be avoided. Planning can be avoided. So this is what Krishna is saying. We have to plan or engage with determination without deviation and give up all material desires completely when nothing remains. Because even a tiny crack can lead to mighty crash. A little bit of deviation in our path of yoga, for Ashtanga Yogi, it is tremendously crashing his whole path, everything that he's followed till now, and reached the stage where he's sitting down, secluded, practicing dhyana, thinking of the Lord, within his heart, where he can come to the samadhi stage. There, Rambha comes or Menaka comes, right? What happens? Everything that he's done so far, everything is gone down the drain. Now, when he's gone, if he engages his senses, then what happens? He has to start again, all over again. So with the mind and the senses, Manasa and Indriya Gramam, Vini Yamya Samantataha. One brings oneself under control. Yes, Deepa Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I had a question. So with the yoga process, that is the Ashtanga yoga process, when they are controlling their mind and their senses, is there any purification of the soul that happens? Like, are they getting, you said they are getting closer to Krishna. So does the soul get clearer or becomes more closer to its perfectional stage?
Yeah, so yeah, the main thing is the soul is already pure, right? Satchit Ananda, the soul is already pure, but yes, the anarthas are getting purified. He is getting purified by the process. It is very lengthy process. All these yoga processes, because Krishna is mentioning, these are processes which are valid, which are bona fide. It's just that they take a lot of time. And in this Kali Yuga, where Krishna is going to talk about from the 7th chapter onwards, the yoga process of bhakti is what is recommended. So yeah, but these also, they take effect. That's why he comes to the stage, yoga arudha stages, after getting so much purification. Nobody can come and sit secluded place, think of, Paramatma within the heart without that purification of anarthas. Yeah, let's keep going. So for the yogi who is in seclusion, see, in seclusion, there are no sense objects around him. So the trigger of temptation is primarily internal. So some past memory of enjoyment may come up, but one controls at the level of the mind and controls the senses, does not let the senses get active, right? The Menaka came, the sense object came in the forest for Vishwamitra Muni. But generally, this doesn't happen. There are no sense objects around, right? For that yogi, past experiences may come in and he might just leave, go back to his, material world and go back into sense gratification. There might be sense objects also for a yogi over there. Even at the greater stage where, if you remember Dhruv Maharaj's, he at one time just was living on air, right? Meditating, chanting, and living on air. So sense objects were there for him. Sense objects was maybe a fruit of a tree there in the forest, trying to stay away from that also. So for determination, Prabhupada gives the example of this brave sparrow's story. It's determination. And we all know the story, right? In short, somebody, very short, 5-6 sentences. Who can tell us the story? Okay, so I'll say it. The eggs of this little bird who laid the eggs near the shore of an ocean, the waves came and took the eggs away. And the small bird was so heartbroken when it came back one day and saw that the eggs are not there and realized that the waves had come and taken the eggs away. It was so angry, and it started, telling the ocean, if you don't give my eggs back, I will dry you up by taking all your water away. So for the little bird, started doing also drop by drop, went to the ocean side, took water in its beak and bring it out and put it in the sand. Started doing that. Do we think it is possible? It is not possible. So similarly, for us, it is not possible. When we are here in bhakti, what is our main solace? Solace is that I'm trying my best with determination, little by little, chanting every day is like one drop at a time, trying to purify myself. But we depend on grace of Krishna. Here, Garud came, and so much happy with the determination of the sparrow, came in front of the ocean and said, if you don't give the eggs back, then I will make you disappear from this planet Earth. He was so determined. Seeing the determination of the sparrow, which was so determined, the grace of higher beings here, Garud Devta. The grace comes and the mercy comes, and because of which it becomes possible. So the material existence is compared to an ocean, and our conditionings are also oceanic. But Krishna is waiting eagerly to shower his mercy. What is required from us is determination. Prabhupada says similarly, so he gives the story in the purport in brief, and then he says, similarly, the practice of yoga, especially Bhakti Yoga and Krishna consciousness, may appear to be a very difficult job, but if anyone follows the principles with great determination, the Lord will surely help. For God helps those who help themselves. And we added this here, God is there in our, what is helping ourselves? God is there in our hearts and is waiting to help us. So the best way we can help ourselves is by stop obstructing his help, by stop getting distracted. So from our sides, what is the help we can give to ourselves is stop getting distracted and take Krishna's help. This is from Upadeshamrita, which is also another book that we'll be studying, Nectar of Instruction. Utsaha nishchayadharat tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat satovritte shatpir bhakti siddhyati. One can execute process of bhakti yoga successfully with full-hearted enthusiasm, perseverance, and determination. Let's keep going. Next, Krishna talks about the process of pratyahar, going from sadhana to siddha. And two more verses. Let's quickly finish. Shaner shaner uparamed buddhya dhriti grihitaya atma samstham mana kritva na kinchit api chintayet. Gradually, step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence sustained by full conviction, and thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. So slowly and gradually, Krishna says, we should keep our mind calm with intelligence carried with conviction. Dhriti grihitaya. So this is a stage of pratyahar when one is trying to withdraw from the senses. So there is conviction, Krishna says, and intelligence. So both components are important. For example, if a person is very much diseased in the hospital and the doctor gives a protocol, right? This is something that you have to follow, this medication, maybe these injections. There might be discomfort and the patient might get so freaked out that decides, okay, I'm leaving this place. I cannot go through. But There may be discomfort when I start taking treatment, but with intelligence that yes, this is a treatment which will cure me, and sustained conviction, I understand that I will get cured. So intelligence, conviction, patience, and cure. So same with the yoga processes. There may be difficulty when I try to control the mind and keep all distractions away, but with intelligence, sustained by conviction, I understand that it will be possible. I will get perfection. So fix the mind on the soul, Atma Samstham Manakritva na kinchit api chintayet, by conviction that there is nothing sustainable in the material world. The yogi doesn't think about anything else and moves towards the eternal. You can read the purport later by proper conviction. The same thing Prabhupada is saying. And this is a summary of 24th and 25th verse, which brings to the last verse of this class. The mind keeps running here and there. What can be done? Krishna tells in this verse. One of the verses we'll try to memorize. The first one in this chapter. Yato yato nischalati manaschanchalam astiram tatastato niyamayetad atmani eva vasham nayet. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it back and bring it back under the control of the self. Let's recite it one more time. Yato yato nischalati, from wherever. The mind nischalati, wanders. Manas chanchalam astiram, because the mind is chanchalam and it is astiram. It is unsteady and it is flickering. Tatas tato niyamayetad, with discipline, from there, one has to bring it back. Atmani eva vasham nayet, in the control of vash, of the Atma or the self. Let's recite it. Yato yato nischalati. Everyone, let's recite. Yato yato nischalati manaschancchalam astiram tatas tato niyamayetad atmani eva vasham nayet. All right. So success formula in yoga. This is the verse where Krishna gives the success formula, bringing the wavering mind back. It applies to all of us, all yoga practices, not just Ashtanga yoga. For us, especially sitting and chanting again, when the mind wanders here and there, we have to bring it back every time. One who controls the mind and therefore the senses as well is called Goswami. Prabhupada says this in the purport. He gives example of Goswami, and who cannot, he is bonus for the one who can go.
Godas.
Godas. One
Is
who
a
is,
servant of the
yes,
servant
one
of
is the mind.
senses.
Controlled by the mind is Godas. So we can't change our internal and external stimuli, right? Things, desires come, externally distractions come. But what can we do? We can change our responses. No sensual response, which is a Goswami. Krishna will further tell us that when one lives in this way, then what happens in the next verses. Few more verses are coming in the Bhagavad Gita 27, 28, 29, where we are going to memorize those verses also. A couple maybe. So we'll do quickly this activity. It's really interesting. You can take a look, take a screenshot if you want, because we'll have breakout rooms. So this is a radio exercise. You have been asked by the BBC to contribute towards thought of the day. Write a radio talk, that which will last just 3 minutes. So choose from the following themes. 2 themes are here. Do we obtain salvation by our own endeavors or through God's grace? Or the second one is the defects of modern yoga practices. And the team leader will give the talk. You can write it together and quickly. If you have taken the screenshot, I will now go in the breakout rooms. Any question for the for what we're gonna do now. For the exercise.
Where is
Yes,
the screenshot? Mataji? Where is the screenshot? Does it appear?
Oh. You haven't taken?
No, it has. From where you have to take? From the screen,
You
no?
have to take the screenshot. Hold on.
Mataji,
Yes.
Mataji, I will put it in the chat. the
Okay, please
screenshot.
put it in the chat. In the WhatsApp, you can put it. Or here, you can put it. Either way. Okay. Yes, Sanjana Mataji, you have a question?
Mataji, the first question was the question I wanted to ask you. Can you
Yes. Oh,
Same here, Mataji.
now
even
your
I-
team members will tell you.
Okay.
Second.
Gondu
Mataji?
yoga.
Mataji, can we answer from our own experience or do we tie it to verses from the Gita?
Speaking on BBC, so keep it general. You can give example also. You can give the example of the bird, the story of the bird, if you want. Okay, and I'm not able to make the breakout rooms. Hold on.
Question modern defects.